바이든 행정부가 경제적으로 성공했다고 주장.
They have created the strongest economic recovery in our lifetimes. They've restored integrity to the White House. This is the most pro-labor, pro-worker, pro-family, pro-public education administration in our history. Now, we have an opportunity to make history again. Kamala Harris has led the fight for our freedoms, to make our own decisions about our own bodies, to live safe from gun violence, and the freedom to join a union. Kamala Harris fights for a future where every person has the opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead. Elect Kamala Harris as the next President of the United States. So,
두 번째 기조 연설자, 경험 공유.
As a special education teacher, I had heard about the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. Unfortunately, what I had heard was that during the last administration, most people who applied for it didn't get it.
학자금 탕감 경험 공유.
So I applied and later had my student loans forgiven. This is a huge weight off my shoulders, and now I help my fellow teachers get the debt forgiveness they deserve. Vice President Harris fights for us. And as president, she will fight for a better life for all Americans. And now it is my honor to introduce the first woman to be elected Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
해리스 등장.
oh my goodness, it's so good to be with everybody. Please have a seat. Please have a seat. If you have a seat, please have a seat. It is good to be in the House of Labor. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My goodness. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you all.
선생님 노조의 서미비스의 감사 표명.
And to the members of AFT, I thank you for your service to our nation. From the public service workers and higher education faculty to the school bus drivers and the custodians, to the school nurses and our teachers, you all do God's work educating our children, the whole ecosystem of who are AFT members. It is you who have taken on the most noble of work, which is to concern yourself with the well-being of the children of America. And I thank you for that. I thank you for that.
자신에 대한 지지에 감사 표명.
And I thank you also for your support over the years and for being the first union to endorse me this week.
선생님과 일화 공유.
Many of you know that my first grade teacher, Mrs. Frances Wilson, God rest her soul, taught me and educated me and encouraged me and inspired me. And years later, when I walked across the stage to receive my law school diploma, Mrs. Frances Wilson was in the audience. Yeah. Yeah. And that's who you are. I know who you are. This work is personal, and it is so critically important.
선생님들의 노고에 자신이 존재한다함.
And so it is because of Mrs. Wilson and so many teachers like her that I stand before you as Vice President of the United States of America. And that I am running to become President of the United States of America. You see the potential in every child. You foster it, you encourage it, and in so doing, you shape the future of our nation. Which is why I say, we need you so desperately right now.
학자금 탕감책 일화 공유.
So as an example, our administration has forgiven student loan debt for nearly 5 million Americans. And twice as much for our public servants, including our teachers. Teachers like Tanya Cabeza, who I met recently in Philadelphia.
20년간 학자금 대출 상환했다는 한 여성.
Tanya was first in her family to go to college, and she had been, like many, paying off her student loans for 20 years. And she told me, she was like, look, I at many times wondered, would I have to leave this profession I love to just be able to pay my bills? And after 20 years, she still owed $40,000 in student loans. And we forgave it all. When she learned, she told me, she said, when she learned that her loans had been forgiven, she said, well, me and my children knew our lives had changed and we were just dancing.
노조의 권리가 중요하다는 주장.
And one of the best ways to keep our nation moving forward is to give workers a voice, to protect the freedom to organize, to defend the freedom to collectively bargain, to end union busting. As head of the White House Labor Task Force, I have led our work to eliminate barriers to organizing in both public and private sectors, including for teachers. You may not be a union member, but you should thank unions, and I'm looking to the cameras in the back of the room, but thank unions for the 5-day work week, for the 8-hour workday. Thank unions for sick leave and paid family leave and vacation time. Because the fact is, unions helped build America's middle class.
노조 활동 강해져야 한다함.
So AFT, ours is a fight for the future. In this moment across our nation, we witness a full-on attack on hard-won, hard-fought freedoms. While you teach students about democracy and representative government, extremists attack the sacred freedom to vote. While you try to create safe and welcoming places where our children can learn, extremists attack our freedom to live safe from gun violence. They have the nerve to tell teachers to strap on a gun in the classroom.
총기 안전법, 이건 중요한 듯.
While they refuse to pass common sense gun safety laws. And while you teach students about our nation's past, these extremists attack the freedom to learn and acknowledge our nation's true and full history,
책 금지 법안?
including book bans. So we want to ban assault weapons, and they want to ban books. Can you imagine? They passed so-called don't say gay laws.
해리스, 최초 동성 결혼 공직자? 물음표.
Now I have to tell you, so many of you may know, in 2004, on Valentine's Day weekend, I was one of the first elected officials in the country to perform same-sex marriages. So here's the thing. It pains me so to think 20 years later that there are some young teachers in their 20s who are afraid to put up a photograph of themselves and their partner for fear they could lose their job. And what is their job? The most noble of work, teaching other people's children. And God knows we don't pay you enough as it is. In this moment, we are in a fight for our most fundamental freedoms. And to this room of leaders, I say, bring it on.
노조 활동이 미국의 자유유지에 도움이 된다는 주장으로 마무리.
We believe in our country. We believe in its promise of freedom. And the American people believe in the promise of freedom. So we are in the fight. So AFT, that's right, bring it on. So ultimately, in this moment, I know we all know, we each in our country face a question. So today I ask you, AFT, are you ready to make your voices heard?